How could I be so stupid? And all my talking that I did yesterday, I forgot to shout out the special teams. And what's funny is, the last 2 or 3 games, I made it a point to say the special teams wasn't a problem in any of this, whether it was in a win or a loss. Special teams has been very consistent, and this is probably the 4th or 5th game in a row where we have nothing bad to say about special teams. Boz hit all of his kicks. Corliss Waitman was good again in the punting game. Calvin Austin caught all the punts that were kicked to him and actually had a little bit of a return. I think it was like a little 10-yard return on the one. And then they had the splash. They had the Minkah Fitzpatrick blocked extra point, which was a shitty call, eventually called back. I did, briefly mention that yesterday, but it wasn't really in the context of complimenting the special teams. It was more shitting on the refs and their bad calls. But yeah, that Minkah Fitzpatrick block kick, and then the Dean Lowry blocked field goal. Yeah, the Minkah one was for the extra point, and then the Dean Lowry one was for the Jets getting an extra 3 points. Special teams, all around awesome. And it's funny that Danny Smith, he's a borderline celebrity here in Pittsburgh now. I mean, he's got to be one of the more well-known assistant coaches out there that's not a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator because of how much he gets highlighted on the broadcast whenever the Steelers special teams do good. And over the last, 2 or 3 years, there's been a lot more good than bad, and we've seen him up there. I mean, he's a character in and of his own right, having that huge wad of bubble gum in his mouth, chomping on it, and going after the ref yesterday because of the shitty call that he made on Minkah. So good for Danny Smith, man. Good for the Steelers special teams. They've been definitely one of the more, out of the 3 units, out of offense, defense, and special teams, they've actually probably been the most consistent of the 3. Now, granted, they're on the field a lot less than the offense and defense, but they've been doing a really, really good job. And yesterday was another case of that, where they even took it up another level. But I got a few more things I wanted to talk about, just some additional thoughts regarding yesterday's game. And actually, these are things that happened after the game in interviews and press conferences and stuff. Tomlin was asked by Brandon Marshall, actually. He showed up, for the media stuff. He was asked by Brandon Marshall how tough the decision was to name Russell Wilson the starter over Justin Fields going into this Week 7 game. And this was Mike Tomlin's response.
Go with 3.
That's why.
From East Liberty.
That's why I'm well compensated. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why Tomlin gets paid the big bucks. These type of decisions, whether you're talking naming a starting quarterback, which is something that Tomlin has had to do multiple times ever since Big Ben retired. That falls under Tomlin, or hiring coordinators, hiring staff, firing staff. Those are things that Tomlin's had to deal with. And, it all comes with the job. It all comes with being a head coach. And going back to what I've been saying about Tomlin, he's objectively a good head coach. He deserves to be making these decisions. Now, was it fair to question this decision going into this game? I think so, absolutely. Given that Russ hasn't played in a long time, given how the offense has looked over the last 2 or 3 years without a Big Ben, given Justin Fields going 4-2 these first 6 weeks of the season, and knowing that the upside that comes with the Justin Fields and how I think a lot of us felt like there was a lot more left on the table with Fields. I think there was a higher ceiling that could have been accomplished, a higher potential in this offense. And benching Fields, you would be stymieing that a little bit. And you knew at least what you were getting with Fields too, with the floor of being 4-2. Could have easily been 5-1, 6-0. And he wasn't the reason that we weren't 5-1 or 6-0 either. He was playing solid. Could he have done better? Yes, but at the same time, he's only 25. There was still more development, I think, left on the table with Fields. But with Russ, I mean, you're getting Russell Wilson, right? You're getting a dude that's done it before, a 9-time Pro Bowl, Super Bowl champion, the resume, all that stuff. But there were still question marks around that. Denver, there's a reason why. Maybe the reason was a bad one. I don't know at this point. Seeing how Russ played yesterday, maybe Sean Payton was just that much of an idiot in how he handled Russ in that Broncos team last year. But there were still question marks of Could Russ still do it at a high level? Could Russ still be vintage Rush from the Seattle days? Like, Denver let him go, where they had to take on this $40 million dead cap hit and just didn't want him around anymore. Like, there had to have been something to that, at least, right? But maybe it just wasn't a good fit. Maybe things just don't work out, and people, organizations, they go their separate ways, and both sides are better off for it. Now, yesterday was a good sign for Russ here in Pittsburgh. No doubt about it. But, yeah, Tomlin making this decision, that is why you get paid the big bucks. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the type of decision head coaches make. This isn't what assistant coaches have to deal with, position coaches have to deal with, the players have to deal with. It comes back to Tomlin. So you're taking the heat or you're getting the praise one way or another, and Tomlin gets the praise, man. The risk paid off, and I think it should pay off going forward because I don't think this offense is going to get worse. That was Russ's first game in a Steelers uniform. His first game. 260 plus and 3 total touchdowns. It should only be getting better, right? I mean, this is the NFL. It's not like it's going to be perfect. It's not like it's going to be 260 and 3 touchdowns every game for Russ going forward. But I do think we should get a better flow. Russ should be more comfortable in this offense going forward and having more and more command and just continuing to knock the rust off the more he plays. So shout out to Tomlin. Big shout out to Tomlin. And then the next thing that I liked, I appreciated. I guess you could say found interesting a little bit, but Russ was asked by the postgame reporter. It was him and Beanie Bishop. And he was asked, what he had to say to Steeler Nation. He had one of those catchphrases for Seattle, had the Broncos country, let's ride when he was in Denver. What's his catchphrase to the Steelers? And this is what he said.
You want to sign us off with your latest one?
We'll just wait. We'll wait till the end. We'll see what happens.
Wait till the end of what?
We'll wait till the end.
Okay, all right.
I guess Russ listens to the podcast because this is exactly what I advised him to do. Do not do any of the catchphrase stuff because I think it was on the Sunday night broadcast from a couple weeks ago, the Cowboys game, where someone said that, Russ had a new catchphrase dialed up for Steeler Nation. It was like win the 7th or something like that he was going to say at the end of interviews and press conferences and stuff. My response was, don't do that. Just don't do that. You're going to jinx it. It's too much. Stay low key. Stay playing good football. Stay winning games, and that shit will take care of itself because I feel like he made a mistake doing that with Denver because you see how everything played out. Yeah, almost like he came to Denver and was doing the hype stuff, the marketing stuff, and the play didn't back it up, and you see how it ended up in Denver. Now, I think Russ deserved to do some of the marketing and hyping stuff up? Sure, because of what he did in Seattle, but at the same time, I think it's always just better to stay low-key, man. Let your play do the talking for you as opposed to doing stuff like that. Win one for the 7. I just don't think that would have went over. It wouldn't have went over well for me. There's no reason to be talking about winning the 7th Super Bowl when you just won literally your first game with the Steelers yesterday. Let's stack some more wins. Let's win the 7th, and then you could say that. How about that? You win the 7th, and you could say it, which is how he responded, and I like that. I appreciated that from Russ, that he didn't I guess back up what was initially the initial report thrown out there on the Sunday Night Football game against the Cowboys that he was going to say this new catchphrase for Steeler Nation. I'm happy. Maybe he listened to the podcast. Maybe he listened to my advice. Either way, big win yesterday, and these were just some of my additional thoughts regarding the game. Obviously, I missed shouting out the special teams in the post-game report yesterday, and then, a couple clips, a couple sound bites that I found interesting and wanted to respond to and talk about. So hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your additional thoughts as well, if there was anything I missed or any additional commentary you wanted to make on the 37-15 Steelers win over the Jets. So stay chilling. Here we go, Steelers. Peace.